Hello, welcome to another episode of Cycling Chit Chat. As you can hear, I'm under the weather, so instead of cycling chit chat, it's just regular chit chat. So yes, I've tried to put in some rides over the monsoon surge and I've gotten sick. Probably because there's a flu going around lah. So keep yourself healthy, guys. So today's topic is trying to help new cyclists understand why certain things are very expensive. While cycling is kind of affordable, once you add in a lot of high-end products, it starts to feel kind of expensive. Of course, everyone wants things that are cheap and good. However, in the cycling world, there is innovation. Innovation actually kind of benefit racers first, and the technology later kind of trickle down to common folks like us. The bike industry then becomes very willing to sell some of these like new innovation to us regular people. And that is kind of where the cost is going, which is paying for innovation and other things like that. So my intention for this video is for you to kind of have a very simple understanding of the difference between expensive and cheap stuff. But even if I say cheap, it's not that cheap. I think let's start with everyone's favorite topic, which is group set. So let's take, for example, a road group set. We start at the bottom with Claris and then Sora, Tierra. So these are kind of simple to understand. As the higher you go, you get more speed. Then you start to play with the big boys, starting with 105 and then Ultegra followed by Dura Ace. While Ultegra and Dura Ace are 12-speed group set, the difference is really in weight. The group set that are Sora and below also comes with cable disc brakes, and 105 and above comes with hydraulic disc brake. It's very normal to kind of be enticed by the number of speed. Speed technically refers to the number of cogs you have on your cassette, and what it does is it gives you incremental gear range. The more speed you have, the more range you have, not more top speed. So more speed doesn't mean more speed, but however, the higher tier group set technically lasts a lot longer, and the components are a lot more reliable. Then there's a more expensive Di2 version. Of course, the dream group set for everybody would be electronic. They technically tell you that you're saving weight from the housing and the cable, but are you really losing that much weight if you are using a battery instead? And now with the battery in the shifters and the derailleur, you have 2 or 3 more things to charge. So does that value actually add up? So I leave this up to you guys, okay? The same can be said about mountain bike and gravel group sets. So I don't think I'm gonna dive into that, and let's move on. So first and foremost, frame sets are actually priced according to branding. And then within this branding, they are technically priced according to how much innovation goes into them. And further down, it is differentiated by the material choice. Every company definitely is trying to justify the amount of resource they have put into certain research and trying to justify that they have the best frame set on the market. Fortunately, aluminum as a frame set is suddenly trending again due to its more sustainable and affordable nature. People are starting to talk about carbon fiber as a material that uses a lot of resource and generates quite a bit of wastage. So even though racers and many cyclists still prefer carbon fiber frames, I'm kind of happy to say that aluminum frames nowadays are doing so much better, and they technically last longer than a carbon fiber frame. Of course, you can argue that a carbon fiber frame would have more flex, and that means a more comfortable ride through vibration dampening. However, I feel like with more rides even on an aluminum bike, your body technically builds itself up and you get stronger and less fatigue. So what about the most top spec material, titanium? As you can see behind me, I finally opted for a titanium frame. Titanium technically gives you a more comfortable ride than carbon fiber and also the durability of metals. So as I've seen over the years, I have been traveling quite a bit with my bicycle and we're going on many rides and adventures overseas. I find value in investing in a titanium frame that is kind of being very close to my forever bike already. And I'll be very honest with you, it is kind of a one and done. You can choose the most expensive option, which is to have a custom frame build. And many titanium frame builders kind of allow you to go that route because the cost is just a little bit more. So in simple terms, the more expensive frame sets technically contains more innovation and would be of a better material. However, I disagree that carbon would be a more superior material to aluminum because I feel like aluminum is a longer lasting material compared to carbon fiber. In essence, carbon fiber is kind of just plastic. I understand there are many people who will disagree with me and fight me if you see me on the street, so leave your comments below and let me know how you feel. But jokes aside, I've ridden carbon fiber bikes before and I really love them. The vibration dampening is really top spec. Especially on my Love bike, I really love that bicycle. If you want to see a video on this bike, comment below and let me know. So let's talk about the various components in a wheel. The most prominent one would be the rims. Aluminum rims are technically on the cheaper spec. They do not provide much vibration dampening. Aluminum is a cheap material to produce. However, once again, aluminum is technically coming back as a trend. And I've been riding with these aluminum wheels for super long time. They're just cross-country wheels and they take quite a bit of abuse. Highly recommended. Then the next on the tier obviously would be carbon fiber wheels. The deeper it is, the more expensive it is lor. However, I feel like carbon fiber wheels are more worth to upgrade than carbon fiber frame. Your wheels are your direct contact between the bicycle and the ground. Because of that, they are the direct factor of comfort for your ride. Hence, I feel like if you are ready to upgrade something, I would rather you upgrade your wheels first. Even though I'm riding an aluminum rim, I would still advise you guys to change to carbon ones because the difference is pretty big. What about spokes? Many cyclists talk about spokes in terms of weight savings. Hence, carbon fiber spokes are the more expensive option. And the next thing will come down to the hub. For me, I am honestly not able to feel the difference between many front hubs. And as for rear hubs, a DT Swiss 240 provides enough engagement point for me. As for this, I can honestly tell you that I am not knowledgeable in this aspect, and many of us might have to go into kind of deep research if we are trying to look up something. But in the end, where does the cost go to for the more expensive hubs? Technically speaking, they go into the precision machining of the hubs. For the higher end hubs, they only produce quite limited quantity and they all could be handmade. Hence, these are kind of sought after. But once again, I don't have any experience riding these kind of hubs. But from what I can understand from the production point of view, this would be where they would try and justify why it's this expensive. Let's talk about Jersey first, get it out of the way. In Singapore, we have two seasons, wet and very wet. Of course, Singapore is very warm and we will prioritize wearing thinner jerseys. I'm a very small guy and heat dissipates very easily from me, so I feel like there's not much difference between an expensive and cheap jersey. I tend to prioritize long sleeves over short sleeves because of sunburn. And if you can get used to cheap jerseys, you can actually get a lot of cute designs. All the expensive ones kind of look like racing, and I think those look kind of boring. And if you realize I'm always in this kind of Hawaiian shirts now, I've also began riding in them like to and fro work. But I prioritize my beeps. So I'm using 2 pairs of GRC beepless shorts. I'm using beepless shorts because there was once I was traveling between 2 cities and I had to stop my bike in the middle of somewhere and use the toilet very urgently. The beeps are so difficult to take off. So I learned my lesson from that time and always ridden with beepless shorts now. The shorts stay up without the beeps, so I guess they work fine. I'm only 49 kilogram, so my seat bone don't really suffer too much on my saddle. However, some of you guys might need to go down to the store and try some of these beeps. My main advice here is don't buy beeps that are too cheap. The chamois matters, the hardness or softness of the chamois matters. I would try and budget something like above $50 for a good pair of beeps. They will last you very long and they are part of your sports equipment too. If you wear them over bikepacking trips, you can shower with them and you can squeeze them dry and they'll be ready for using the next day. So I guess there's some luck involved for cycling beeps. Basically go into the store and try it, see if you like it. So these are cycling equipment that you kind of wear on yourself. So as I said in a previous video before, my head shape kind of fits a Decathlon mountain bike helmet, so I can afford to buy a cheaper helmet. And as for this, I will prioritize comfort over price. It's terrible to ride in a very uncomfortable helmet or shoe, and I do suggest that you guys go into the store and try and fit some of these helmets and shoes before buying. Here's some additional points for shoes. Shoe fitting and arch support is kind of something that you should try, and if you get issues with your feet consistently due to your shoes, you should see a bike fitter. The same size shoes from different brands and different models might have different clip position. So I feel like you should still go into the store and maybe try a pair of shoes. Unless you are super sure of the branding or you just want to give it a try, go ahead. Okay, we're coming to the end of the video already. Okay, next one, tools. So for those of you who use regular tools and bike tools, you know that they are kind of interchangeable, right? Of course, many modern day bicycles have kind of done away with the whole Phillips screwdriver and go more towards the Allen key lah. But hex wrench will also ruin your boat. Mid-range or more expensive toolkits technically empowers you. When you hold it in your hand, you feel like you can do anything. And that is actually by design. Expensive tool sets are more well designed than cheap ones. Think about it this way, cheap ones are kind of those like one and done. I do a job and the head gets ruined, the Allen key gets ruined, the Phillips screwdriver gets whacked, and you kind of toss them out. The expensive one will last you quite some time. Sometimes you get dedicated storage. Sometimes you get well-designed ergonomic handles. If you're lucky, color coded. The same goes for power tools. So if you cherish your bicycle, I do suggest getting a bit more premium toolkits. They round out your boat less, they fit in your hand more ergonomically, and they make you look professional. For those of you who think that because you have a multi-tool, you don't need a toolkit, think again. Having longer Allen keys like that also means that I have leverage. I can definitely make use of this leverage to maybe undo a bolt. Multi-tools are meant to be compact and brought along with your ride. They are kind of a last-ditch effort, sometimes emergency kind of tool. And when you are not cycling, you're in a workshop setting or in your own home, having a toolkit technically helps you a lot more. Of course, you don't need to buy every tool under the sun. There are some tools which I personally don't have. One of them is a bottom bracket wrench. There's so many standards to them, I can't have all of it. And even if I have the one for my crank set, which is Holotech 2, I use it once in a blue moon, so I don't think I'll buy that too. However, a very good full-size chain breaker would work very well. or maybe some full-size Allen key. I feel like these are very useful. You can chip out on some tools such as a super link tool. So basically, you get the idea. If you love and like to take care of your bicycle, invest in better toolkits. Alright, so these are some of these items that I've kind of tried to explain the difference between the expensive and the cheap ones, and also where the cost goes to when manufacturing some of these items. I hope that gives you a better idea of how and where the money kind of goes to for these items and products. So once again, I'm very sorry that this is supposed to be cycling chit chat, but I'm under the weather now, and so it's just regular chit chat. As always, if you like content like this, subscribe, like this video, and comment. You can comment on the carbon frame one, okay? Yeah. Okay, as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.